Now when I show up, it's like if I have a bad episode on here, I'm not ready to have a bad episode. Because what does that mean? That means I'm way worse. When somebody says you're way better than you thought, that means if I do worse than I think, I'm way worse than I thought.
So no one else is doing 156 brand new keynotes in 3 years. And so for me, it's like you couldn't not end up world class because I'm running the equation of the compound effect.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was episode number 1267, One Small Simple Habit That Changed My Life. Today, for episode number 1268, learning about yourself is one of the hardest things in the world.
Truth.
That is the truth.
Definitely.
And the second you stop learning about yourself, you stop growing, unfortunately. The universe is set up in weird ways. I have been getting paid for consulting as a podcast consultant. And I've done that before, but never with the level of regularity. Is that a word? Nice. Mm-hmm. Never with the level of regularity that I am doing today, where people reach out to me and I do a free call with them because I want to add value. And they say, how much does it cost to work with you? And I'll say, for what you're looking for, let's do $150 an hour. That's my rate.
$17.95, boss.
$17.95, boss. $150 an hour. Okay. And they're like, awesome. And this is what I'll say. Just so you know, if you want us to do like all the production stuff, in the long run, it'll end up being cheaper and you'll get calls. And they're like, no, we're good. I just want your time. It's like, you think I'm valuable? Am I valuable? Am I valuable now? So this is what happened to me. I had on a Friday. So Fridays are usually my busiest day. I'm like back to back all day, and usually I have 2, 3, 4, 5 coaching calls depending on every other week, depending on the off week. And I had a day where I had 2 consulting calls, and I had 2 clients who were producing their shows as well. And this was interesting for me. I got super nervous before the consulting calls. I was not nervous at all before the other calls where it's just coaching. And I dug and I was like, all right, what's going on here? What is this? And I realized that when it comes to us producing your show, there's already a perceived level of value where my coaching doesn't have to be that good. And it doesn't put any pressure on me. Where if I'm consulting with you, you are literally paying me by the hour to get you results. And I felt like an imposter. I don't want to say, I felt like an imposter. I felt scared. I felt like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can actually add value to these people's lives. Learning that about myself was unreasonably challenging. Because I thought I was over all that junk. I thought I was confident now. I thought I had self-belief. I thought I knew what I was doing. And that was one of the hardest things to realize, because you better believe the next week I have another consulting session where I have that moment before of like, oh my goodness, can I do this? Is this person going to like leave in the middle of the session? Imposter syndrome.
Turn their camera off.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, oh, I'm going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
I can still see you though. You're right there. You're not even in your car. What do you mean you're going through a tunnel? So that realization is a painful one because, this is what I do for a living, and I want to consult more. I want to be on the phone with people more. I feel valuable. I have a podcast about podcasts. So that's the reason I wanted to do this episode, because it was just painful for me to be reflecting after getting a new level of success. But with that new level of success comes new lessons about yourself. And I don't know if that's ever going to stop. But I wanted to share that because I think that, again, there's the quote, new level, new devil, right? Take that for what you will. But in this example, in this experience for me, I got a lot of results that I wanted, and I've wanted for years and years and years and years and years. If I wasn't focused on being so aware and hyper-conscious, I might have run from those opportunities. I might have said, you know what? This is too hard. This is too many mirrors. This is too scary. What if I can't do this? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? And something interesting happened. I got to the end of, so one of our clients that I consult with he's in oil and gas, and he's like a high level real estate investor. Great dude. And we got to the end. He's like, Kevin, this was like fire, man. I was like, oh my God, he likes me. He likes me. So I share that in a joking manner, but also I still deal with the fear. And it's okay to deal with the fear. It's okay to experience the fear. I would just suggest you don't run from it. Now, you don't have to run toward it, but just sit with it. Just sit with it. Because imagine, I would have killed to make $150 an hour when I was making $12 an hour cleaning hospital bathrooms. Right? Like, I would have given anything to make 10 times what I was making. And I would say probably if I looked back, like, I'll do anything. No matter what, I wouldn't be afraid. It's like, well, now you have the opportunity to do that. So make sure that you're leaning into that. So it's kind of a funny story, but there is emotion behind that. And it's hard. Learning about yourself, becoming more aware, facing your insecurities, facing your fears, all of that stuff is really, really, really challenging. And our goal is to never tell you that it's not. Because the second I say, look, growth is easy, if it's not easy for you, you're going to think you're doing something wrong. And in reality, you might be growing really quickly and you might be doing all the right things, but if your expectation is off, other things are too.
And we've done a lot of episodes on growing pains, and that's because we always joke growing pains part 15, like Fast and the Furious 15. And the reason why is because the growing pains never really stop. You reach a new level, new devil. That's actually, I think, the first time I've ever heard that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, new level, new devil.
I don't like it because it's if you're not religious or if you are religious or whatever. But
yeah. It does rhyme. I would say new level, new challenge, though, no matter what. And I don't think there's any circumstance I can think of where you reach a new level of success where there isn't a new challenge associated with it.
What if we do new chance, new dance? That's going to be ours.
New chance,
new dance.
New
learn a new dance and figure it out. Not
True.
sticking. I expected you to jump up and down and be like,
that's a you
whoa!
Thing, no, Kev, you should use that.
But
you're
don't
the catchy.
You don't want to.
I don't think I'm going to use new chance, new dance. Yeah, for me, that wouldn't resonate.
That's like somebody showing up in a t-shirt and you being like, yeah, that looks great on you, but I'd never wear it. Okay. What does that really mean, though?
What does that really mean? Though?
It's it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. Yeah. Alan and I are obviously more giggly than usual because it's a Saturday, and I did hard cardio and my brain is sleeping. Okay,
Can I talk now?
You can talk. My apologies.
I'm just joking. Is that how you usually feel?
Usually, yeah. 9 times out of 10, yeah.
Okay. So whether it's new chance, new dance, new level, new devil, or for me, new level, new challenge, way less catchy, but way more accurate. So I really don't think that you can level up in life in any area without a new challenge. It just might be a challenge that's different than you thought. So for example, let's say you level up in fitness. I'm actually experiencing this. I'll keep this anonymous, but I'm experiencing this with someone right now. She is crushing it in fitness, crushing it, and doing better than she's ever done, reaching her goals, on fire, looking good, taking progress pics, killing it, better than she's ever done. She's unintentionally making one of her friends insecure. And this other friend, she's not doing it on purpose, you know? And I had this conversation with this person. I said, listen, we might be unintentionally, because we're doing like the NLU Fit Pick Challenge, and we might be unintentionally putting a mirror up in front of someone else when in a deconstructive way rather than a constructive way. Because the NLU Fit Pick Challenge, if you've never heard of it before, if you're a new listener, essentially it's just an accountability pick every day. You exercise for a half hour a day. And so this person's doing it with me, and she's like, I think I'm unintentionally like causing an aversion between me and this other person, this friend of mine. And I said, don't worry about it. She's not avoiding you. She's avoiding fitness because she doesn't want more feedback right now. She's overwhelmed. She's going through a hard time. And Kevin and I have been through this. We call it the aversion phase. We've talked about it on the podcast, where we think someone doesn't like us, and it's like, did we hurt them? Did we offend them? Did we disrespect them? Like, what happened? And we don't really do that as much as we used to, because now we realize, okay, maybe they're avoiding growth, or maybe they just don't need more feedback, or maybe they're just busy. it probably isn't that they don't like us, because we've had some people come back and they really don't dislike us at all. And it's like, oh, we thought you didn't care about us or disliked us. We thought we hurt your feelings or whatever. And it was never that. It was never that. And so, Kev, you as a podcast consultant to this point, there have been people that have avoided you when in reality, they're not avoiding you. They're avoiding starting their own podcast because they're busy or because they don't have the money or because they're scared or because they're afraid to put themselves out there. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're afraid of themselves.
Exactly.
They're avoiding themselves. This happened to me yesterday where I got on a call with somebody who gave me $1,000 of their money and then just ghosted me for like 6 months. Just disappeared.
Yeah.
Just completely disappeared. And when I got on the Zoom, this person said, "Hey, I want to apologize. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you felt all types of ways." And I said, honestly, I appreciate that very much. You'd be surprised how often this happens to me. I said, I know it's more of a you thing than it is a me thing. And all the grace, all the space, I understand. It's all good.
Yeah, and that's so important for everyone to hear because, and it's important for me to hear too, because there have definitely been a lot of people that I care deeply for in the past that I think avoided me or I thought didn't like me or had an aversion to me, when in reality, maybe they had an aversion to growth or they had an aversion to fitness or whatever I was representing at that time. And so, Kev, it's not that they were avoiding you, they were avoiding their podcast. They were avoiding, maybe they were afraid to start, or maybe they didn't have enough belief in themselves yet, or whatever, right? And that's why they apologized. It had nothing to do with Kevin, it had to do with them. And so if you're out there and you've experienced that, try to see it from that lens. It is helpful. And sometimes it does have to do with you, and sometimes you did offend them. So don't just blanket it and assume it has nothing to do with you either. But so find 5 with that. But back to this, learning about yourself is one of the hardest things in the world. With a new level comes a new challenge. With the new challenge comes a new opportunity for growth. Usually that opportunity for growth has to do with something you have to shore up within yourself. Maybe it's, oh, okay, I really thought I was a good speaker when I was speaking to 20 people, but now I'm coming up on an event that I'm going to be in a room with 1,000 people, and now I'm really fearful. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. So you learn, oh, I'm not as confident as I thought. One for me was, I go to the gym with someone who's way stronger than me. Ooh, not as strong as I thought. Okay. What does that mean about me? Okay, I'm not doing mobility. It's a lot of mirrors. It's a lot of new opportunity to grow. Now you can study more. You can do more mobility. You can watch Athlete X on YouTube. You can get back to the science of how to get stronger. You can eat differently, right? There's so much opportunity. But first, before the opportunity is, ooh, okay, so I don't believe in myself as much as I thought. I'm not as strong as I thought. I'm not as committed to my fitness goals as I thought. And to go back to this original person, she's killing it in fitness. The other person's feeling bad about herself, not killing it in fitness. We've all been there. I've definitely been there. And so she's avoiding her. And, here's the question to ask yourself. Is this next level, am I ready for the new challenge? Is the new challenge going to be constructive or destructive? In other words, if you're flying high, feeling good, you got this. Go face the challenge. Go get the therapist. Go get the coach. If you are in a good financial place, go get the coach. That's the time to do it. The time is not to wait until you're struggling to pay your bills and you need a coach and now you don't have the money to get the coach or the therapist or whatever it is. So when you're flying high, seek challenge. That is the best advice I can give you. When you're flying high and you've got the self-esteem and you've got the belief and things are going well, seek that next level. And that next level will come with a new challenge, and that new challenge will come with something to learn about yourself. When you're down and out, maybe it would be deconstructive to have more mirrors and more feedback and more difficulty. And so I think it all depends on each of you, but seek the level of self-awareness that you're ready for in terms of your current emotional, mental health state, but also in terms of your level of current self-belief as well on the macro level.
My name is Nathan Schwermann. I'm from Lawrence, Kansas. I've been a client of Alan's for coming on 2 years now, and I really can't recommend his program enough. Alan's always there for me with great advice and holding me accountable every step of the way, and really leading by example. I've grown a lot in his program, but he's grown alongside with me. So I'd really recommend joining up on the program and joining the community.
I got some really good feedback the other day that I think should have been, and you've told me this many times, not in this exact way, but somebody said it's very clear that you're a professional when it comes to speaking. You're eloquent with your words. Believe it or not, Next Level You on other podcasts, they find me eloquent with my words. And I had it was one of those podcasts, I'm sure you had them, when I got off and I was like, that would be a really hard act to follow. I feel like I really did a great job connecting things and storytelling and pausing and just everything. I feel like it was really good speaking. And it was a scary thing in a way. It was almost like, oh, okay. Like, I've gotten good at this. Like, what does that mean?
I know.
Now what?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I don't know if it's more pressure. Now it's like, oh, okay. Now other people feel about me what I feel about me. It's that quote. We've said this before. The press is never right. So it's like, thank you so much. I appreciate that, but I'm not as good as you think I am. But also, if somebody reached out and said, hey, that was the worst episode ever, it's like, okay, thank you for the feedback.
They're not as bad as you.
But I'm not as bad as you think. That's the interesting thing, is like, it's almost like what happens is now I'm trying to learn more about myself of it. How right is that person? Are they very right? I feel like I did good, but I know there's so much to go. You know, it's just interesting. This is why, I don't know. There's no substitute for growth. Nobody can grow for you. Nobody can grow for you, because this is the inner stuff of, what does that mean? Am I not going to be relatable anymore? Am I not going to be funny, Kev? That. Are people going to look at me differently? Are they going to expect things? Like, can I not joke anymore? Can I not watch UFC? Can I not have a whiskey on the weekend if I want? Because that's not what the type of Kevin everybody thinks I am would do. Like, that's
not what professionals do.
Yeah, right? It's like, what does that mean? They show up in a tuxedo with a cane?
With a cane. Have you ever seen yourself as a professional?
No. I don't think I want to be. I don't think I want to be a professional. You know, like, look at us right now. I'm scruffy. I need to shave. I'm scruffy. I have a t-shirt and a hat on. You got business clothes on. Like, look at your studio. You know, all your awards. I don't have any awards, son. I don't have any medals or certificates. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think I want.
You got a couple bodybuilding trophies, don't you?
No, I threw them in the trash.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, when I moved, I was like, I don't want these. These don't mean anything to me. You know? But I don't know. It's just interesting. And that, again, that's me literally learning about myself in real time, sharing that with you as the audience, because I want you to see. This is the frame for me. I want you to see what it's like for me. It doesn't have to be the same for you, but maybe it is. Maybe it's similar for you, where you think, oh, you know what? Yeah, I felt that way too. Somebody said I'm a really good artist. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm actually, like, I could actually do this? Interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
And
it's weird.
And then what does that mean? What do I do now?
Right.
It's interesting, yeah. I would say self-belief is the theme lately for me. When you inject self-belief into someone and you give them earned words of affirmation, I try really hard to give people earned words of affirmation. Then their identity shifts. So it's like, oh, okay, so I am humble. Okay, so I do believe in myself? Interesting. Okay, so I've always kind of believed in myself, a little more than I thought. Okay, now what do I do with that? So it's almost like it's impossible to improve without a new level of challenge. And this is what it is. You overcome a challenge, and then you become more, because now you believe in yourself more, and you learned more, and you needed resources and people to help you with so you become more. And then afterwards, now you're more capable. So now more is expected of you. And then that more not only that, but you expect more of yourself. It is interesting. Growth,
but there's a lag. There's the weird lag for me of, like, I do believe I'm a very good speaker. I appreciate when I get that compliment, but the way they said it, they're like, you are, like, incredible.
Yeah.
Like, you are world class. It's like, all right,
You are
thank you.
world class.
I appreciate it.
Genuinely.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
of course.
But I've heard you say that. You've been saying that for years. You've been saying like, Kev, you could be the best. You could be the best. You could be the best. Like, all right, man, whatever. I'm going to keep showing up and trying. But I think there's this weird dead space between when you start to get the feedback that you believe about yourself and then when you start to actually make that your identity. Mm-hmm. Now when I show up, it's like, if I have a bad episode on here, I'm not ready to have a bad episode. Because what does that mean? That means I'm way worse. When somebody says you're way better than you thought, that means if I do worse than I think, I'm way worse than I thought. That's the weird mind game that I think gets played.
Which is why you have to try to stay at 5. You have to try to stay accurate. You almost can't fully, and which means you have to consistently recontemplate yourself in a statistical understanding. And I'll go quick about this, Kev, but I want to give the listeners the reason why I say he's world class. I'm not just saying that. So let me unpack the equation. We did, how many weeks in a row did we do of the live podcast? It started out as a live speech or something.
I think we did 140. I don't know. I think, didn't we cross 3 years?
I think so. I honestly think so. I think it was 190. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
All right.
We did 3 years.
Let's say we did 3 years. Okay.
So that would be 100.
So that would be 52 times 3, which is 156 weeks.
I think we did
so
that.
It started out as remember it was in my mom's motorhome the first time because the power went out and it was me on my phone. We did a meetup. It was called a meetup back then. And then we did it was kind of mastermind. It was a mastermind and then it was eventually a meetup and then it was a live podcast and it was keynotes and lecture. It was all the different things. But anyways, the reason why I'm saying Kev is a strong speaker, I'm not just saying that. I was saying this because I know statistically speaking, no one else is doing, what's 52 times 3 again? 156, right? So no one else is doing 156 brand new keynotes in 3 years. And so for me, it's like you couldn't not end up world class because I'm running the equation of the compound effect. Because, I mean, most speakers have like a couple speeches that they just run. And so you and I, when we do Next Level Live, it's our bread and butter. This is the stuff that we teach and have been teaching for now 6 years. So we're going to be really good. It's not because we're some special great person or anything. It's just because we've been putting in reps. You know, you're not going to play basketball for 10 years and then suck. You know what I mean? So I think it's rooted in reality. It's rooted in earned merit and it's rooted in accurate thinking statistically. And I think that if everyone out there watching or listening to this, if you want to stay at 5, you're going to have to recontemplate who you are now compared to who you were, and then compared to who you aspire to be. And then you're going to have to reevaluate that along the way. And it again, this is about learning about yourself is one of the hardest things in the world. That's why it's so hard. You have to constantly reassess. I watched Austin Powers 2 with Emilia the other night because we wanted a funny comedy. And there's some toxic masculine stuff in there that I did not realize. And it's like there's certain parts of this that are still hilarious. There's certain parts of this that are funnier than I even thought they were. There's other parts that are not okay with me anymore, not aligned at all, and not funny. And then there's other parts that are like, man, take them or leave them. But it's a completely different experience, not because Austin Powers changed, but because I changed. Right? And so when you read a book you've already read before and you notice something you never noticed before, Bob Proctor says this, you're not noticing something in the book that's different. You're noticing something in yourself that's different. And so we have to constantly reassess. And I like to go back to old movies because I want to reprocess them. So one of the movies I liked when I was a kid was The Rundown. And so I watched The Rundown with The Rock, and it's just like, oh, okay, I didn't realize how violent this movie is. This is like a wicked violent movie. You know, and now I'm watching it with Emilia too, so I'm like, wow, this is this is definitely a bro movie, right? But anyways, that's the reason why learning about yourself is so difficult, because you have to basically do it pretty much every day in order to kind of stay humble but also confident.
And then the second you know yourself, you get the opportunity to. I won't give details yet because I don't know if I want to give details, but we have a very potentially unique and large opportunity to produce a podcast that's going to be very big. And I don't know if I'm going to coach this person. I don't know. But I had that moment, Alan, of like, oh boy, I don't know if I can do this.
New level,
You know?
new challenge.
Yeah. But this is a whole new level. Like we're talking, world class in our industry, like top 10
Hands down.
in our industry. And it's like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah. But of course, so let me empathize for a second.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, no, you're right. I understand. Yeah, that is a new challenge. There's a new level of pressure.
That's what I'm learning is like,
I've been waking up waiting to coach him.
I know.
I'm ready.
I know I don't feel ready. That's all it is. But that's my default.
How many times have you felt that way?
Every day.
Right?
Every day for the last 6 years, pretty much. So again, my natural see, that's the thing is I catch myself. It's like, maybe we'll run from this. And it's like, no, that's your natural. Like, again, most recent and relevant proof. We launched 4 podcasts, in the last couple of weeks. Like, we got this. This is no different.
We've produced 30 shows. We can do 31.
Right.
Yeah.
We've launched, So again, I'm glad we did this episode because I think it's important. Again, I always want to make sure that we're talking about what we're going through. Specifically me, because I know a lot of the stuff I go through, the listeners probably resonate with maybe a little bit more than Alan. But it's important for me because I don't want to lose sight of that. That's where this podcast came from. That's why we started it, and that's the value we want to add.
I've sensed it. It's good. I've noticed you shifted into some self-doubt, but also humility too. It doesn't seem, man, it's all good. As long as you don't run away to the point where you don't try, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I've come to appreciate self-doubt in people more than just delusional arrogance. I'm grateful that you feel your emotions and, you still try anyway. I think that's what's important.
I agree. I think that's courage, and that's what we're all after. Next level, nation. I know we do 7 episodes a week, so I know we do an episode every single day. So when our episodes are launching. We're here. We're going to be here every single day for the rest of time. But I do believe it would be valuable for you to subscribe to this show for a simple reason. If you wake up one day and you say, you know what, I just don't have it. I know on my peak performance tracker, I know in Optimal, I know I'm supposed to listen to something that teaches me something every single day. I'm just not feeling it today. And then you get a little ping from Apple Podcast or wherever you're subscribed, and it says Next Level University just dropped an episode, number whatever it is, 5 ways to blah, blah, blah. And you say, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'm ready for this. I should really do this. I don't want to let myself down. I'll regret it if I don't do it. So whatever platform you listen on, I don't know what it's like on Spotify, but on Apple, there's a big plus sign in the top right. If you could do yourself and us a favor and subscribe and follow the show, that would help us out tremendously. We've been on the top charts in many, many countries, but we want to be on more because we want to help more people, and you can help us by doing that.
So I've been listening to a lot of Jim Rohn lately. So R.I.P. Jim Rohn is the late and great personal development speaker. If you've never heard him, he's on YouTube. He was born in 1949, so if you listen to some of his stuff, remember he has some dogmatic beliefs because he was from a different time, but he's excellent. He has this one analogy that I adore, and I've only ever sailed once in my life, but I do get it because of that experience. It's not the wind that matters. The wind blows on us all. It's the set of the sail. And the set of the sail is your philosophy. And so what NLU really is, in a nutshell, is every single day, check in on the set of your sail. It's not about the speed that matters, it's the direction that matters. In 5 years from now, you will surely arrive, Jim Rohn quote. The only question is where, right? And so if you're setting your sail and resetting your sail every single day, you're going to be much better off and you won't crash into the rocks, so to speak, in this analogy. We also have Next Level Live. So Next Level Live will not be a speech. It will not be a lecture. You will not be lectured at. I've learned that does not work. So it will be an experience. We're going to have 3 different groups, red group, green group, yellow group. It's going to be 50 people only. There's going to be myself, Kevin, an assistant coach. Amy L. is going to be emceeing it. We've got Jen as the virtual event coordinator. You're going to meet the team. There's going to be music. It's going to be an experience. It's going to be awesome. If you have not yet gotten your ticket, please do it immediately. The link will be in the show notes.
Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1,269. Do you even understand how much your past has affected you. I'm sure that's going to be another deep one, but we have been doing deep episodes lately, so there's no sense in stopping now. As always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out